Hello friend, how are you? I hope you are fine. Welcome all of you to our YouTube channel English Story 26. Friends, today we have brought a very interesting story by listening to which you can improve your English.
Chapter 1. My time is coming. An elephant and a dog became pregnant at same time. 3 months down the line, the dog gave birth to 6 puppies. 6 months later, the dog was pregnant again, and 9 months on it, gave birth to another dozen puppies. The pattern continued. On the 18th month, the dog approached the elephant, questioning, "Are you sure that you are pregnant? We became pregnant on the same date. I have given birth 3 times to a dozen puppies, and they are now grown to become big dogs. Yet you are still pregnant. What's going on?" The elephant replied, "There is something I want you to understand. What I am carrying is not a puppy, but an elephant. I only give birth to one in 2 years. When my baby hits the ground, the earth feels it. When my baby crosses the road, human beings stop and watch in admiration. What I carry draws attention. So what I'm carrying is mighty and great. Lesson: don't lose faith when you see others receive answers to their prayers. Lesson: if you haven't received your own blessings, don't despair. Lesson: say to yourself, my time is coming. My blessings are being processed, prepared, packaged, and wrapped up in God's glory.
Chapter 2. Owning Mistakes. Simon was a curious boy. He was fond of reading adventure stories. He lived with his grandfather. One night, he stealthily entered the storeroom where his grandfather kept his priceless antiques. Simon knew his grandfather did not like anyone to touch his rare collections. Once inside the room, Simon stood on a chair. He lifted the box wherein his grandfather had kept many wristwatches bought from different countries he had visited. While getting down from the chair, Simon's elbow struck against the chair. The box slipped out of his hands and fell onto the floor. All the watch lay scattered all around. To his utter shock, he found the glass of his grandfather's favorite watch broken. Simon got frightened lest his grandfather should come to know about the broken glass. He started picking up the pieces of glass. Simon thought, "How will I tell my grandfather that his favorite watch had got broken? He will be angry with me. If I do not tell him, he will not come to know about it." Simon got nervous. His heart started beating faster. He put the broken watch back into the box and placed the box back on the shelf. Afterwards, he went to sleep. He tossed and turned in bed. He could not sleep in peace throughout the whole night. The next morning, Simon got up early. He gathered courage to go and admit his fault to his grandfather. Reaching his grandfather's bedroom, he told him everything. The grandfather looked thoughtful. He did not say anything to Simon. He went over to the storeroom. Simon kept standing with his head down. Having returned from the store, the grandfather said to Simon, "I felt very angry when you had broken my precious watch. Your grandmother gifted it to me on our first wedding anniversary. But you need not worry. Only the glass is broken. I shall have it replaced." Simon felt relieved. After some time, his grandfather went into the kitchen and bought a glass of milk for him. While giving the milk to Simon, his grandfather said, "It was brave enough of you to tell me about the broken watch. You knew that I would scold you, did not you?" Simon said, "I was scared at first, but I dared not tell a lie. I should not have touched your things without your permission." Simon's grandfather further remarked, "When I was at your age, I also broke my mother's precious flower case. I was scared to own up my mistake. but when I went to confess, she said that she already knew about it. It is brave to admit your mistake. You may be scared of being scolded, but it is the only way for you to be free from guilt. Chapter 3. Positive Thinking. Sometimes life can be tough, and it is easy to focus on the negative. However, those who are true to the positive and joys of life will see this story for what it really is, the true way we should view life and all its wonders. Read the story below and let it change your thinking about life. Two men are seriously ill and in the same hospital room. For an hour each day, the nurses would let the man closest to the room's only window sit up in order to help drain the fluid in his lungs. The other man in the room spent all his time flat on his back. As you can imagine, with little else to do, the men would talk for hours. They spoke about their families, homes, their lives in the military, and where they had traveled. And each day, the man sitting away from the window longed for the hour when his roommate would be able to sit up and describe the details of the world outside their room. He would speak of children playing, of animals peacefully roaming, and of happy families playing in the water. Sadly, after months of this, the day arrived when the man closest to the window died in his sleep. After his body had been removed from the room and some time had passed, the other man asked if he could take the bed by the window. The nurses were happy to oblige him, and they made the switch. Once they were gone, the man slowly and painfully pulled himself up so he could take his first good look at the world outside the hospital room, the world whose description had brought him so much comfort. To his dismay, he found that the view was not as vibrant as he'd been told. In fact, the window faced a blank wall. Upset, the man called for the nurse and explained the situation. "Why would he lie to me?" he questioned the nurse. After thinking for a moment, the nurse looked at him and said, "Maybe he just wanted to encourage you." This should be a lesson to all of us, that no matter our situation, we can do tremendous good for those around us by looking on the bright side of every situation. Even when we're faced with what seems like an impenetrable brick wall, we can bring so much happiness and joy to those around us if we find positive ways of looking at the world. And the man in the story could just as easily have described the bland brick wall that stood outside the window, but instead of simply passing along his misery and grief, he shared whatever happiness he did have, doubling it.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Please do like, share, comment, and subscribe my YouTube channel.